Hey everybody, welcome to
Hey.
Modelz Talk. Let's talk about it. All right, we're gonna start off with a little a little bit about ourselves. You got 90 seconds, Tonya. Let's go.
I'm Tonya Lewis, better known as Sassy since birth. I'm a model. I am from originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Been in Atlanta, back in Atlanta for about a year, and I was voted ATL hottest. I've been in numerous of magazines. I've I've modeled for some of the best designers like B. Dick, A. Rowe, Sakana Rose, and I'm looking forward to my bright future.
All right, Miss Andrea Rowe, talk to me.
Hey, I'm Andrea Rowe. I'm originally from Miami, Florida. I am a fashion designer and I have been in Atlanta over 30 years.
All
And
right,
I have graced many stages and worked with hundreds of models and just excited to be here.
thank you for coming on. Appreciate you,
Absolutely.
Tammy D.
Hey, this is Tammy T. I am a full figured model. I am a member of the Lingale Agency, TLA, geared toward models over the age of 40. I
All
have
right,
been I have been published well over 10 times in different publications. I have walked for some of the best designers, Andrea Rowe,
mhm.
Vivian V. Dinks, Sakana Rose. I am a brand ambassador for Sakana Rose as well as Fats Clothing.
All right.
Um, yep, and I just look forward to this discussion and many more. It's very interesting. I'm excited.
Good. Welcome, welcome. Zelda.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this discussion. I am based in Central Florida. I've been in the modeling industry for 3 years now, but I'm not new to the entertainment industry. But just started modeling 3 years ago during the pandemic. But by the grace of God, I've had the opportunity to do a lot of big things, and I'm looking forward to doing some more stuff.
All right. Who did I miss?
The baby from Tennessee.
Jules.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Jules. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Jules Armani. You can find me all over social media on Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as well. I'm getting ready to start my own podcast, but prior to that, I am a traveling published runway model, and I do a lot of different acting and a lot of entrepreneurship.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Welcome, welcome. And last but not least, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Brianna Jones. I'm from Tennessee. I'm a
Awesome.
traveling published and print model. I've traveled to LA recently to
I
do my model
am 32
experience
years
fashion
old. I'm
show.
originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I've been
Oops.
Mm,
I'm sorry. I heard somebody else coming through the thing, or I'm
that
not sure
was
if my
you.
connection was bad.
That was
It was
you.
me?
That was you, boo.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
But
okay.
I'm from Tennessee and I'm a published model. I've recently been in the LA fashion show for the model experience, and I'm also going to New York Fashion Week in September. And I'm just now getting into acting as well. And I was starring in my first short film called My Destiny that will be out soon this month. And
Congratulations.
just thank you.
Yes. Yes, youngster. Do that. Congratulations. Well, welcome to Models Talk. As you know, this is a podcast represented by your one and only Zaharraa Geyhanna. And yes, we got Lewis Jones holding it down in the background for me. So I have to give it up to Lewis, you guys. Give it up. Yes, Lewis in the background, Lewis Jones producing this show. It is about us models in the industry, you guys, and our designers and our producers. And so we're going to get into it. Lewis, can I have that first question? It's coming across your screen. To be successful starts with a mindset. Do you believe some people are just in this for free photo, clothes, and confidence building?
Yes,
What do
there
you
are.
think?
Yes.
I
Okay,
believe
go
some
right
people
ahead.
are.
Expound on your yes.
I, I believe, yeah. Some people don't. Some models don't take this as a business.
Okay,
For
Tam.
me, this is a business. I am my business.
That's right.
I am my brand.
That's
So
right.
I do this more for it is a confidence build, but I do it to build other women's confidence. I want other women to see the 52-year-old plus size gray hair grandma on the runway so they can believe if they want to do it, if it's something they ever wanted to do, you can still do it. It's not too late. That's what I do it for. I do it, and again, it's also a business. I do this because I love it, but I'm not doing it just to get free clothes. And I'm definitely not doing it for social media photos. I have several photos that I have not posted on social media because, again, this is a business. I got to get published. If you have your photos on social media, those photos cannot be published.
That's right.
So,
Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. I don't mean to
mhm.
cut you off. We've just got a large panel. Andrea Rowe, what do you think? We can't hear you, baby.
She's muted.
You're muted.
There we go. There we go. I think some are in it just to be in it as a hobby, but I know that several of the models, and I'm finding that the older models take it more seriously and that they are more focused and that they're more strategic about the work that they do.
Uh
Um,
huh.
so I think really, some do it just for the clothes, do it just for the photos, um, you know, and that's what they do. That fine, but that shows that
Mm-hmm.
across when you are picking at a model call. It comes across whether or not you're serious about what you do or if you're just there to be seen. Because
Okay.
people are just there to be seen.
Well, we have a lot of that. Let me
Yes.
go with Jewel. Jules, what you think?
I agree completely with what you just said. Word for word. Yeah. In my experience, if you're not young and starting out, and you have some type of training, whether it's your momager, manager, agency, in your 20s, a lot of them, I would say, just in my experience, don't take it as serious, but a little bit in their 30s, they take it a lot more serious because the clock is ticking. And then also, the older you get, it limits the different type of genres that you can be in. So depending on what you're doing it for, the time is really not on your side. So the older you are, the more serious a lot of them do take it.
I agree with that.
Okay. Zelda?
Yes, I definitely agree that the younger models, especially those that consider themselves to be influencers, I think that they are in it to get clothes and to get photos so that they can have material to create content. I also believe that people are in it to help build confidence. That's one of the reasons why I got into it. And I also feel like it's a good opportunity to network and meet people because there's so many different people at shows and different modeling opportunities that I've come across. I also feel like older people take it a little bit more serious as well because they use it as a side hustle. We really ain't got time to just be doing a bunch of stuff for free. So, yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. And Tammy T.
Yes. I agree. This is a hustle for me. So this is a business. I'm not in it just to get free clothes, and I'm definitely not in it just to say I'm a model. There's a
Okay.
lot of young there's a lot of young ladies that's in it just so they can say I'm a model.
Okay.
But no, this is one of my hustles. This is a stream of income for me.
And
So
Tonya?
You know
mhm.
what? I do it because of I'm almost 12 years clean, and a lot of us had in the recovery lifestyle. We had lost dreams, and we lost so many dreams that we didn't think that life could go on, and that dreams that were lost, we could never get them back. I am showing women that are 59 years old that are in recovery, that you can always, you're never too old to do what you believe in. And I've came to Atlanta and by storm, and I've hit the ground running really hard. And I'm trying to show the people in my family, that, and my daughters, that you're never too old to do anything. If you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Brianna?
I I agree, but at the same time, I feel like it doesn't really matter about the age, just mostly about where your mindset is, really. Because me
Mhm.
personally, I grew up very insecure as a child, getting bullied and stuff for the way that I looked. And once I started modeling, I found
Wow.
my confidence, but I never allowed my looks to go to my head. And so, honestly, I just want to keep modeling, see how far I can go with it, and start my own agency and do the same thing for other women and girls too, and show them that they can be beautiful inside and out.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
That is really beautiful. I love all you all's answers, and you basically piggyback off of one another. And I think that's fabulous. Louis, what's the next question you have for us? How can we help one another get better results from shows that are being produced?
Ooh, that's a good
Andrea.
one.
Oh,
Oh, that's a good question.
Did you say me? Oh,
yes, ma'am.
uh, how can we? Oh, I think honestly, if we come together and have a meeting before um, beforehand and create a team environment so that we promote it better. I think promotion and marketing is the biggest problems um, to the show.
You're breaking up on me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can
I
you repeat
think
it?
I think when we do the show, I think we need to team up with people who have done shows, because what happens is I think marketing and promotion is one of the big areas that we fail in.
Mm.
Um, and we don't get the numbers that we're looking for. We don't get the crowds we're looking for. We don't get the people coming that we're looking for. And I think sometimes we we want to draw people, but we're not going about it right.
Well, I think also to add to that, and then I'll go to the next person, but to add to that, I think that we have a tendency to step on each other's toes,
Mhm.
and running over each other on the exact same dates and rehearsing basically the same times and things like that. So I think that's also part of the causation of the problem,
Mhm.
you know. Uh,
Mhm.
Maybe if we had some kind of consortium put together of producers, designers, and models, maybe we could come up with something that could help us do better. What do you think? You're new to it, but Brianna, what do you think?
I agree. I think it's all about networking, and rather than looking at people like competition, just teaching those who don't know as much
Say
about
it.
networking and stuff like that to each other, and really
Mhm.
just putting your head together and stop trying to look at one above another one.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Tanya, what do you think?
You know what? I think that if the models were had if the models were getting paid, we do a lot of modeling and we don't get recognized as a business. Even like if you're selling the tickets, you get a portion of that, and organize it more. Do it as like a gig that you're gonna get paid from, and then you can hold everybody more accountable for your production. That's
Uh-huh.
what I think.
Okay. Zelda,
I like
what do you think, Dove?
Yes, ma'am. I definitely agree. Taking care of the models goes a long way. I've had the opportunity to model for several different production companies here in Central Florida. And, word gets around. And so the production companies that do take care of us, treat us good, make sure we have water, snacks
Okay.
backstage.
Can we
Um,
get a bottle of water, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
That's,
And I
Say
that's a
it.
whole
understand.
nother. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yep.
It's a whole.
Yeah,
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
it
It
is.
is.
And I understand, wanting to use like the beauty school students to do our hair and makeup and stuff of that nature. But sometimes it's like, okay, we have to end up redoing stuff ourselves anyway because we don't want to get on that runway looking halfway done. So I think if the producers can do a better job of making sure that they are taking care of the models, then the models will be, more excited about being parts of the show And definitely, if they can pay us more, because like the other lady said, we are doing a lot. We put in a lot of hours with rehearsals. A lot of times we do have to spend stuff out of our own paycheck,
Yeah.
buying, like different
Right.
undergarments and accessories and all this. So
Right.
yeah, take care of the models, and that'll go a longer way.
Take care of
Yes.
the models, and the models will take care of you.
Yes.
How about
Hmm.
that?
Yes.
What do you think, Tammy?
Yeah. And this circle, this is a small circle.
Yes, it is.
It's a very small circle. And I don't see a reason why the producers, different designers can just, like you said, have a consortium, get together and just say, this is um, what you have scheduled. What are you doing? Are you doing a show this day? Are you doing a show that day? So that there won't be a conflict. Because again, us, like I said, the circle is small, and we walk in pretty much the main shows, me and Tanya, we pretty much walk in those shows. So there's been times that I've had to go from one rehearsal to another in the same day, or one rehearsal to a show same day. I've had to do that. So
Been
not being competitive with each other and working together in this very small circle in Atlanta, I think that would benefit a lot, and also taking care of your models. And if
absolutely
if you can't pay us, at least
beat us.
show us show us some kind of respect. Sometimes I've been at shows where we were just treated like cattle. So, and
Absolutely.
those are shows that I will never ever ever do another show again for
What
that
about you?
particular producer. So,
What about you, Jewel?
I agree with everybody here on the panel. I feel like, yeah, if you can't do anything else, you definitely should take care of the models because we are basically the walking hangers. We showcase the pieces. We do a lot. We coming out of our pockets. Like y'all was making some really good points. I agree with those. Like you take care. You can't pay us. At least get us some headshots or some type of photo, something that we can use. To also
mhm,
help us grow. Also, because
mhm,
it don't always got to be about money. I do stuff for exposure work. I also do paid work, but yeah, it's a lot better when it's paid because you feel appreciated for your time because
Mhm.
it's a lot that you have to go through and putting into it. So, and yeah, I've had good shows, bad shows. I've been talked to crazy. I've been treated with the utmost respect. So, it's all about knowing like when you're networking just really using that word of mouth. Reach out to some other models if it's somebody that you haven't never walked before with, and just see what their experience like with that person, that particular production, and then decide is that something that you want attached to your name, and don't just be trying to run and
exactly.
do every single thing
Exactly.
because everybody's on their own journey. It's a lot of stuff going on, but it's like, what exactly are you trying to do? What are you trying to gain from it? Like, where are you going with it? You have to really get with yourself and figure out, what your purpose is. And then I feel like you should go from there. And if you don't see anything, there's stuff in other states
Okay.
you can go to. It's bigger than just, but yeah, taking care of your models, I feel like goes a so long way because you have
Okay.
people not showing up. It's
Okay.
crazy.
Thank you, Jules. Anybody else have anything they want to add to that?
I do.
Go ahead.
With the as many shows as they have here in Atlanta, they have a show every weekend, and
Mhm.
my thing is, I want to be with a modeling agency that finds me work. And that's why I do the shows that I do sometimes. Of course, I love my designers in Atlanta. I'm glad Rowe is on here. I just adore her clothes.
Me too.
But I would love to get with the agency, and if producers have those type of connections, why are they're not connecting us to that? That's a way of payment as well.
Yes.
Giving us the connections that we need to move our careers further.
Yes. I agree with everything what everybody said. I think you all answered that question very well. Lewis, may we have the next
Can I
question?
say something?
Yes. Go ahead, Jules.
Okay. I want to say on that, yeah, I feel like agency is the way to go. If you want agency, yeah, that's for more serious paid, trying to really get to the bag. A lot of people But you have to be careful to have different types of contracts. You have to read over those. But
Absolutely.
a lot of my experience since I've been here, it's like some people have a production, so to speak, and it's like really a scam. They're charging the models to be featured in the show when we're actually supposed to be getting paid to be featured in these shows, and they're being treated like cattle, and the designers are not showing up. There's no formation, there's no production. There's a lot of stuff that it needs to be tightened up.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's when,
Absolutely.
and that's when you have to be very selective on the type of on the shows that you do. Do your research. Just because
Yeah,
there's a show and you see a lot of flyers about it, that does not necessarily mean that's a show that you want to have your
That's,
brand connected to.
that's right.
exactly.
That's
Mhm.
Right.
exactly.
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 Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next question, ladies. And here we go. Are fashion shows, I'm sorry,
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
are fashion shows mainly a business or are they for models and designers to gain awareness?
Ooh,
Let me see. Zelda, can you give me the first answer on this?
Okay, so from what I've learned from people that have put on shows, they're not really making money from it. So it definitely is more of an opportunity for designers to get their brand out there and for models to get their face out there so that they could potentially get discovered by an agent or a brand out there that may want to work with them.
Okay. All right. Um, I, Adriana Rowe, were
And
you Andrea? I always call you Adriana. I'm sorry, baby.
it's okay. I'm reading the question, but I'm looking at the question. I don't think it's so much awareness as much as it is exposure. Um,
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
because my thing is that I've put on a show. I put on a couple of shows. It is very expensive to put on a show.
Hmm.
It's very expensive when you have more than 10, 20 models. I had almost 40 models. It's expensive because and honestly, if you can't afford to put on a show
That's dope.
without ticket sales,
Don't
don't
do
Don't
it.
do it.
show.
Don't
That's
do
Andrea's
it.
thing. That's her thing right there. If you can't
Don't
That's
do
afford
it
real
it,
talk.
because what
yeah.
happens is something's gonna go lacking.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You got a venue that's too expensive. You got food you got to pay for. You got a DJ you got to pay for. You got a photographer you have to pay for. Then
Hmm.
you still need to take care of the models. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in taking care of the models regardless of what's going on. I don't care if I don't leave with nothing. Long as they are fed, long as they get something from it, long as they get pictures, I don't care about the rest. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how some people can use it as a business unless at some point they're not paying somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Somebody's
Hmm.
not going to get paid if they're doing it as a business
Mm-hmm.
because you got to have a budget and you got to have
Hmm.
money already up front
Hmm.
in
You're
Hmm.
order
so
to put on a show.
you're so
Well,
right.
you
So
know what?
you got
Let
to.
me.
And
Mm-mm.
see, a
Because
lot
if
of
you
people
don't,
think
they think it's easy. They think,
that's
oh,
what I was just about to
put
say.
on a show.
Mm-hmm.
Most times when people put on a show, used to put on a show, it had a purpose.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whether
Right.
it
Right.
was a fundraiser, whether it
Hmm.
was for a cause of some sort, whether it was to bring awareness of some sort. That was why people were putting on fashion shows.
Yeah,
Now,
but and
now they
no,
put them on just to put
mhm.
them on, and they have no
Hmm.
purpose.
Right.
None.
You know, now it's they have shows that come through Atlanta, and one just left here. They're making money,
Okay.
and they're making their models have to sell so many tickets to be in this show. I
Yeah.
was invited to come and walk. And then when I got there, I was probably the oldest model there, and I didn't get picked. Then they called me to come back. I was like, no, I'm not coming back. But I heard some feedback from the show that, and they're making money because they're going from state to state.
Mm-hmm.
But they're making the models sell so many tickets in order to walk.
Which I don't think is right.
I
Yeah.
don't agree with
And
that.
I don't believe it's
I
right
don't
at
agree with that at all.
And
because to me
I
that's
don't
part of
agree with
the
fees. I don't agree that models should have to pay to
Have to
be in the
pay.
show.
Casting, I don't either. I don't think they should have to pay.
No, I don't think models should have to pay. simply for the fact is, we are doing this and we are showing the brands, if anything, we need to be promoted even
Right.
Yeah.
more.
Yes.
Not have to
We're paying in
or to
gas.
self
We're
promote.
we're paying and buying wigs. We're paying and buying makeup. We're
Right.
paying
Exactly.
in time. We're
Exactly.
paying already.
Exactly.
Mhm.
New heels,
Exactly.
new black heels, new beige heels, to bring because we done wore out some,
Yeah.
whatever. We're paying,
Mhm.
and we need to be paid or compensated in some way, form, factor, fiction. We need to be better taken care of here in the Atlanta market, and nobody seems to get it, you know,
No.
Mhm.
and I think that's wrong.
And I
That's
find that
why that
designers are more I'm sorry to cut you off, but
that's okay. Go
I
ahead.
find that designers take care of the models more so than producers.
Producers do.
Yes.
I
The
Absolutely.
designers,
Absolutely.
Yep.
the designers that I've worked with,
Mhm.
excellent. I
Thank
don't have
God
a
for
complaint
that.
about one designer. Andrea, Vivian,
Mm-hmm.
everybody. They always do something. They
Mm-hmm.
do what they can to take care of us. The producers of the show,
and that's why
some
we give
shows,
to them.
that's the problem. That's where the
That
problem comes in
you
at.
Yeah.
we're taken care of.
Mhm.
We go back
Mm-hmm.
when they
Exactly.
call.
Yeah.
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 We
Those
don't
the
how high. What do you
yeah, the
need
designers that I just named, they can call me anytime.
Yep.
anytime?
And you
What
know what? It's an amazing feeling when a designer know they can depend on
you
you.
Mhm.
That's so. When I first got here, the designers didn't know me, so a lot of times I didn't get picked, but I didn't stop. I kept on coming. I'm like a
Oh, they
net.
know. Oh, they know you now, girl.
Yes.
Let's hear from our baby girls. Uh,
Mhm,
Jewel, what you got for me? What do
Yes.
you
mhm,
What do you
I,
think?
I agree. I agree. I'm just so pleased to be on here with a bunch of professionals in the industry and that understand a lot of the things that us models go through. Y'all saying some stuff. Y'all saying some stuff.
All right, and
Y'all saying
what
some
do you
stuff.
think? Brianna, what do you think? You're new to this whole venture.
I agree with what everybody said because I kind of experienced that with my LA experience. We had to have a deadline for all the tickets to be paid. We had to pay for the room, the flights, and everything. And the producers really kind of treated us bad, but the designers we had were really very nice to us and just helped everybody out, made sure everybody else was good. So it's kind of like a hard business, but you don't really get too much out of it except for maybe being seen depending on how good you do and like that and just promotion for yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
Mhm.
let me chime in on
From
what
the babe's mouth.
we're not just we're not,
From the mouth of babes.
but
Yeah.
one thing to be seen, and then there's another thing to be seen. The fact of the matter is, we don't garner boutiques. We don't have magazines there. We don't have a whole genre of people that should be at the show that can help us take
Mhm.
it to the next level. They're not there.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Very rarely do we have those types of people in the audience where we can
That's what
say,
we say.
I'm
I'm,
sorry.
Mhm.
I
I'm,
very rarely do we have those types of people in the show, let alone a
Mhm.
packed out house, unless you
Hmm.
get 1,000 tickets. We don't have the people that are necessary to be there that we need to be seen by. They're not there. Are they
Hmm.
not
Mhm.
invited? What what what's
Promotion.
what, what's the problem with that?
That's what I mean by
That
marketing.
goes, yeah.
Yeah.
marketing.
If you have a
Hmm.
if you have people, producers are not reaching out to the um to these big people that they should know when they're putting on a show. No, they're not gonna know who you are. I've never watched this. I
Pick
over
your phone up, Andrea. You breaking up.
You're
I've
breaking up on us.
can you
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
yeah. Say
Okay.
it again.
Been in Atlanta over 30 years. I've never seen a press release for fashion.
Wow,
I've
Wow.
wow,
never seen
Wow.
a press release for
wow.
a fashion show.
Mm.
I didn't do one myself because I did most of the work myself. So
Hmm.
I see a press release. I've never seen a press release go out for
Well,
any of
that's
the
fantastic.
shows. And a press release, believe it or not, makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it.
It says we are here. It says we
Mm-hmm.
are. It says we are professional. I've
Mm-hmm.
never
Well, that's
and and
there's
No.
a plan to make that change. Just
yeah,
to let
that's what I mean by marketing and promotion. That's not the
Mm-hmm.
designer's job. That's not the model's job.
It's
no,
a producer.
it's the
Yeah.
producer's job.
That's the
Can I
producer.
say? Yeah. Can I say
Who's
something?
speaking?
Um, this
Who's
is
speaking?
Zelda.
Zelda.
Okay, Zelda, go.
Zelda, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I also want to say this. Now I'm in Central Florida, so it's a little bit different here than from Atlanta. I can say that there are some good producers here in Central Florida, and one of the things that I know helps them is that they also one of the companies that I work for, she's also an event planner. So I noticed that when the producers do partner with like event planners and other promoters, it does help to get the word
Absolutely.
out, and it helps with the marketing.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's something you guys can consider, is making sure that
Yeah.
producers are working with event planners and
Mhm.
promoters in the area, because
That
it
makes
takes
sense.
more than just a handful of people to pull off a show.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I I feel blessed because I actually was part of a press release for a show I did here in Leesburg. So it is happening. I guess just in some areas we gotta get it up to speed.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
thank
that makes
you.
sense.
We know there are good producers out there that do what they're supposed to do, but we're talking about those that aren't doing what they're supposed to do specifically
Right.
right now in this market that we're in.
Or
And
Mm-hmm.
consistently.
it
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
consistent, Tanya, it is consistent. Louis, may we have the next question, please? Everyone has a camera these days. Are there legit photographers that want to see people win?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yes.
ooh, yes, I believe so.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
Yes.
think we
believe
have
so.
photographers
I
here.
couldn't hear the question because it kind of got muffled. Can you
Oh,
repeat the question?
sure. It should be at the bottom of your screen too.
Mhm.
Everyone has a camera these days. Are there legit photographers that want to see people win?
Mhm.
Because you
Okay.
have those photographers that take your
Hmm.
picture and you never see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been, you
Yeah.
Right.
know what? I've been pretty fortunate with
Hmm.
the photographers here in Atlanta. And two I can name right off the rip is Tyrus
David
and
and
David
David
Price.
Price.
We always get our pictures. You know,
I
Yes,
put
they're
that
Hmm.
down.
they are more excited about getting our pictures to us than the designers and then the fashion shows. They are excited
Hmm.
because they capture our essence.
Yeah,
And
I do.
it's
Hmm.
amazing to be able to get those pictures and be able to, you know, when you're a digital creator as I am,
yes,
and you got to post something every day, it's nice to have all those pictures in your treasure box.
Hmm.
So
yes,
yeah,
Mhm.
Yes.
there's two it here in Atlanta that are amazing, and I love them.
Yeah,
yes.
me too.
Hmm.
There
Yeah.
are there are
Yeah.
several that are true photographers here, and I've
Mhm.
run into them as well. But there are a lot that don't do that. They're at the show.
Hmm.
We got three, four, five photographers at the show, and out of the show, we
Hmm.
get two that give us our pictures.
Yep.
And
So
you
Yep.
what
and
happens?
the other gotta
What
wait
happens
6 months.
to what happens to those images that the other photographers take? And if we ask for them, then
They
They
want us.
want to sell it
They
to
want us to pay for them. Yep.
right, it's a
Hmm.
problem.
them.
Um,
Yeah.
Hmm.
um, Brianna, have you run into this issue?
Yes,
Huh?
yes,
I'm sorry.
I've dealt with the photographer. Oops, I'm sorry. Yes, I have dealt with it before. I have worked with a photographer, and they had some stuff going on, which I understood. I gave them time, but time, like months were going by and stuff, and I was like, "Hey, I'm still waiting on my pictures," and then they just completely ghosted, and then they come back and apologize and wanted to work with me again, but it was like, well, I don't think I should work with you again because you still haven't returned the pictures from the first event to me. So I just try to look at people from their background of photography and stuff and give them a chance. But if I can't get my stuff right the first time, I really don't want to do it again afterwards.
And
Well, we got a
go,
smart
go
young
ahead.
lady
Go,
there, don't we?
go ahead, Jill. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean, I think everybody's going to experience that because it's a lot of people that it's some pigs out here just pick up a camera and want to just push news, and you have to be careful. You really got to do your research. You got to know what you're doing. You got to have your concepts prepared. You got to have a plus one with you for safety. Like I feel like, yeah, and a lot of times they're posting bad pictures of you, and you can't even get published. They just really want. So I really feel like a lot of it is a lot of photographers are just trying to get seen also, and they just want to push out whatever to try to work with whoever, and they don't even understand the business or the quality or anything of that nature. Yeah, I've ran through that, but I started
What
doing a
about
lot of self-tape work. So now I do a lot of my own. I'm sorry.
But
that's okay, Zelda.
I started
Okay,
doing a
yes.
lot of my own pictures and stuff like that because, for one, when you start tapping into the professional dashboard on the platforms and stuff like that, they want you to push more of your own stuff. And then you don't have to really wait on somebody else to get with you to set an appointment to be available. You can just kind of set yourself up and just get it rolling.
Hold that
I
point.
just cut it out.
Hold that point. Zelda, what do you think?
Okay, yes. In my experience, actually, I've had one main photographer that was really in my corner and helped me to get myself out there as a model. So I do think that some of the photographers are definitely in it to help models and to help the show. There's also some photographers that they're using the runway platform as a place for them to practice and gain experience, honestly. And that's probably why
Yeah.
you may not see some of the pictures come back from some of those photographers because they just may not be that good. And you
Yeah,
probably don't want to use that
you don't
content
want them
anyway.
anyway. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I still
So,
want to see him.
um,
I still want to see him.
me too, because I know how to
true, because
edit.
it's your image.
Let,
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's you. And you want to make sure if they're going to use it, they putting out
yeah,
something that
you're
looks
gonna use it.
good.
You're
Hey,
And they're putting out bad stuff.
hey
yeah.
Yeah.
Z, can we
But
Yes.
go back to I'm sorry,
Go
because
ahead.
I need to bring to the table that the Royal Union did put out a press conference, and they brought the city to us. They
yeah,
they,
they
they
brought
brought
the city of
the whole
Marietta to us.
Alpharetta city to us
Okay.
and made
Yeah.
and put us out there. So I have to say they did do some marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not all shows and all producers. I mean, there
Yeah.
are several producers
No,
that
but
do
I
what
just
they're
wanted to
supposed to
give
do.
them they
No.
kudos because they did that.
Okay.
Hmm.
When we overtalk each other, it gets lost in the muddle. So
I'm sorry.
I can't
I'm
hear you.
sorry.
Okay, in your differences. So go ahead, Tammy. What were you saying now?
No, I was just agreeing with Tanya. I was just saying there are very good producers out there. I'm not, we weren't down in all the producers. There are some that do exactly what they're supposed to do,
Yes.
and then there's some that don't.
No.
And that, yeah, and yeah. So yeah, just you got to do your research. You just
Yeah.
can't jump. You just can't attach your brand to everybody.
That's true.
Hmm.
That's very true. All right. I think we are we through with that, or anybody else have a comment? Everybody through on that one? Let's go on and move forward, Lewis. What we got? Is Atlanta a fashion capital style?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Andrea Rowe, Andrea, I see you shaking your head. I see you shaking your head.
You know, I'm shaking my head because they want to be,
Mhm.
but they're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to
Yeah.
be extremely bad, but they're not because they allow anything on the runway.
Woo!
You stop
You better
allowing anything on the runway, then you can become a game changer.
mm-hmm.
Then you can become in the top five.
Mhm.
Right now, Atlanta ain't in the top five.
Are they in the top 10?
They might be in the top 10, but they're closer to 10 than anything
Mm-hmm.
because they don't take it serious. They don't believe in real designers. They
Woo!
don't
You better
believe
Yeah.
in real work. They
you better
don't
stay in.
honor or respect real work.
Yeah. They put a T-shirt person next to a real designer.
They will put I have had shows where 5 t-shirt companies went before me, and I had to
Oh
wait.
my God.
I had to wait. And by the time
No,
I
no,
got
no,
to
no.
the walkway, I got to the runway, everybody was gone.
Mm, mm,
So all my hard work, because see, I sew, I buy
mhm,
fabric, I sit at my sewing machine.
mhm,
I will
Mm-hmm.
stay up for a week
Mm-hmm.
waiting for models to walk for 7 minutes
Mm.
on the runway. I will do fittings at my house. I will go to
Yeah.
their house.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
ask any of the models who walk for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a slap in the face.
Yes, it is.
mhm,
I
And the
agree
people that
100%.
they honor, the people that they honor and give awards to, talking about best fashion design, I'd be like, okay, I don't know how that's working for you, but okay.
mhm,
Mm. Tammy, what do you have to say?
mhm.
Um. Uh. Um.
La, 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 la.
Uh. What is? I got a
Yeah.
question. What? Okay. So where is the fashion capital of the South? Is it
I
Miami?
don't think there is one. I don't even think it's Miami. I mean, Miami's known for Miami swim week, but that's just swimwear.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think Atlanta is the fashion show capital of the South.
Oh, all right, Tonya. All right.
uh,
All right. And Brianna?
I'm not sure of a specific place that would be the fashion capital. I feel like it's just different places because you meet a lot of different people who are beautiful in their own way, and really just people come from different places that are really nice. So I'm not sure to say which where.
Mhm.
Sure.
I don't
Fashion.
know.
I
I
know
would say
for
LA would be the fashion capital to me. I don't know what the trend is here. I don't know. I can't say that I do know that, but I'm really glad to hear your point as far as the designer's point of view. I never really thought about that from their perspective before, so I feel that though.
Mhm.
I see.
yeah.
It
Because
makes
there are shows with several apparel brands. There'll be more. There'll be a show that have more apparel brands than they have
Like designer.
fashion designers.
Yeah.
I
You
agree.
know what?
I, I've
What
I've done shows like that.
Go right ahead, Tonya.
you know what? I think because Atlanta is a melting pot, that
Mhm.
there are so many different styles of clothes, and that's not just connected to fashion shows.
Right.
That's
Right.
connected to the individual that's in the streets. I see
Urban.
a lot of different designs. I see a lot of different clothing, but the shows itself, I just think they don't respect the designers enough because it's a lot to design, sew, and
That's
think,
right.
and put this arm off, take this arm to the side, and swoop this
Mhm,
dress over here. That's a lot. And
Yes.
then
Yeah.
somebody go and send 100 shirts to a design, I mean, to a press place and get
mhm.
100 shirts pressed. So,
Right. And
Right.
that's the
have
reason why
literally,
Shh. Don't
I
tell.
have
that's
literally
another
watched Andrea Rowe take in a dress on a
on the floor,
model
on
two
the floor.
minutes before she was about to walk on the runway. Okay,
mhm,
I've seen her do that.
Yes.
So
Me too.
that's the utmost respect. She like I can take it in for you right now.
Yeah,
And have the dress fit.
mhm,
yeah.
When you see real design, you have respect for it. At least
Hmm.
yes.
I know this panel does. You know,
Utmost.
Mhm,
I know there are other models that I will be talking to that have that kind of regard for their designers. You
mhm,
know, but it's the individual real designer. I can't tolerate any longer, and this is me. This is Zaharraa. Someone I'm sitting there on my stuff, all the stuff that I bring, and I sit
Mhm.
and somebody walk past me as a so-called designer and drop stuff at my feet and say, "Put this on." Oh yeah, that's happened. Yeah,
Dropped it at
that's
my
happened.
feet.
And then it was half done.
Wow.
It was half
Oh,
done. It was not checked. One of my boobs came out from underneath my bra,
Oh
and
wow.
I was not checked before I walked out on that stage. I had to I had to style it myself in order for it to look better.
Mm.
See what I'm saying?
It wasn't even a finished product.
It wasn't a
Right.
product,
Mhm.
but it went out on the runway. And I did the best I could with what I had on to represent as best I possibly
Mhm.
could. But when I got the picture back, here is one boob hanging down, you
Mhm.
know, out of the bra, fabric tucked up, and it looked heinous. I was a gaga, truly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that my designer didn't even catch this because they weren't even at the door to catch it. You see
But
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, no.
And
So
that goes back
I don't
to,
do that designer any longer. Let's move on.
okay.
More and more designers are staying away from shows with brand and t-shirt designers. Why is this?
Oh, well,
We just covered
I
that.
think we already answered
you want
that.
me to answer that?
They do
Right.
not respect.
You
Now,
know what?
They do not
let's
in
Look,
their
I'm
say
gonna
respect.
say
this.
this.
Hold
I'm gonna
on.
say this.
Let me say this. I I won't say I fault, but I think it's the people who decide who's going to present in their show. It's
Yeah.
their responsibility to make sure that they have quality design, quality brands
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
available for these models to walk in. If you
Mm-hmm.
go
I
to a
agree.
show and you have two actual designers, and only
Mhm.
one of those designers picked those several of those models, and then they get thrown with t-shirt brands, that's a disrespect to those models.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I
I,
fault the people who decide who is in the show, who's the designer
Mhm.
for the show,
Mhm.
because a lot of times they can't get quality designers because they're charging enormous designer fees.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Because they can't afford to put the show on in the first place.
Can't afford to
and
put
it,
the
They
Right.
show.
call it the designers as well.
Yes.
yes.
Wow.
Well, you
Mhm.
know
I
what?
know
Look
they
at,
charge the vendors and all of that other
oh
stuff,
yeah,
but that's mind blowing.
yeah. By the time you
And
okay,
some of them don't even show up.
right. And
You know what? There.
I saw one, they wanted the minimum designer fee was 250.
Wow.
250.
Mhm.
There
Wow.
there are some production companies, they will charge you a $200 or $300 designer fee. You get no photos. They promise you absolutely nothing.
They
Wow.
should give you some type of promotion, put your logo on their backdrop or
Yeah,
something, you know.
Mhm.
yeah. They
Well,
Mhm.
you know
absolutely
what? There is a place for t-shirt people. There is. I
yes.
know there's people. I don't wear hardly t-shirts, but there's a place. But there's no way that a t-shirt, if they're in the fashion show, they should not come out first. Your designers that sat and sewed stuff together should be featured first.
Premier, they should be
Then you
featured.
They
show
should
these
be featured.
t-shirt companies.
Featured.
Mhm.
That's
Yes.
just me.
That should be the feature. I, I,
Right.
I agree with you, Tanya. There's a place for urban design.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Mhm.
place for it. But every show is not for urban design.
Nope.
Mhm.
Right.
And especially having urban design go before your feature, your feature designer
Mhm.
who's actually blood, sweat, and tears into their garments.
Right.
You
Yes.
know?
And I
Zelda,
feel like,
who's
yeah, and to carry on with your point, I also feel like that's not really a good quality show for your guests because your guests are paying tickets, right? They don't want to come see some shirt that you can go buy out of Ross or,
That's
whatever
right.
store. They're
yourself?
paying to see creativity, they're paying to see art and fashion. So that's why I think some of these shows are not selling out and there's nobody coming to the shows because it's like, what am I paying to go see? So, yes, I agree. It is up to the people who are deciding what designers to come in to make sure that there are quality designers so that people are getting their money's worth when they come to see these shows.
Oh,
And thank God I've had the opportunity to work with some good producers that they do their due diligence, making sure they're picking quality designers.
okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Even if it was like, I don't know, because again, there is a place for urban designers, a place for apparel brands. I'm not saying that fashion shows should not include them at all,
Mm.
but I just think that if you have actual designers who've made these creations, they just need to be featured. I mean, they shouldn't be last. They
I
just, they
agree with
just,
that.
they just
They should
shouldn't be
be a
last.
t-shirt, and then put the t-shirts at the end. Wrap up the
Mhm.
show because the people attention span is not that long anyway.
It's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, wrap up the
Right.
show. It should be.
Hmm.
And again, that I know it can
That's
be.
another topic too. How
Yeah.
Yeah.
long these shows are.
Okay. Next question. Feezer asks, because, I'm sorry. Next question, Louis. What are the cons to your local market, and can they how can they be changed, or how do they need to be changed?
I don't understand that question at all.
Put it back up, Louis. It's not being understood. Can we have that question again, please? What are the cons to your local market, and how can they be changed?
So what are the cons? Huh?
The
Oh,
cons of your local.
Okay.
We're in Atlanta market. What are the cons?
Anybody can put on a fashion show, and
Mhm.
that's anybody.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's
Yep.
true.
Anybody.
mhm.
Yep.
Anybody
Anybody can put on a fashion show because everybody thinks it's so easy, which is
with
not.
no substance.
Right.
With no substance. To put on a quality fashion show, it takes, you can't just plan a fashion show in 2 months, a quality fashion show in a
Yep.
couple of months.
And
Yeah.
they
You
and
can't
they
do
charge models and designers because they can't afford to do the show on their own.
that. Now,
Thank you
Okay.
for that,
sometimes
Lou.
I understand that there are designer fees, but I'm not a designer, so I don't know how that dynamic goes. But if you charging a designer fee and you're charging a model fee, and then you require, after we pay the model fee, you requiring us to sell 5 tickets, it sounds like to me that you just didn't have the money to put the show on. That's where I'm coming. And
Yes.
Scam.
that's what it looks like to me.
Thank
Scam.
you, transparency, and
Yep.
appreciate that.
Yep.
Um,
Right.
Brianna,
Well, mhm.
Brianna,
I would say pretty much the same thing. And then coming from a small town, there's not that many opportunities here. So I do have to go out of state and stuff with it, which isn't a problem. It's just I'd like to go 50-50 with it. Say if they want me to come all the way out of state, I like to know that I'm going to benefit from it rather than just coming out there
ooh,
and
baby,
working with people and
Mhm.
they get everything going for them, but I don't really benefit
say
anything
that.
from it either. I want us both to benefit from it.
Yeah,
Yes, okay,
exactly.
everybody. Yes,
Exactly. I
Jules,
mean,
I would say, I mean, one of the things they should just take care. Everybody need to take care of each other better. As far as the models, as far as the designers, the production, everybody take care of each other better. That'll help out the market a lot, and just knowing how to promote it better. Because a lot of it is just so dry promoted. Like it's just promoted on the productions page, and nobody else is pushing it until just before. There's no footwork anymore with new social media. Nobody does the get outside anymore. So I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do. It's all in the mind of the person. But I just feel like the market is just down because everybody just wants it so easily. Everybody wants everybody to do the work for them instead of everybody taking care of each other.
I agree with that. I agree
mhm,
with that. But
mhm,
that's the difference between, for instance, and I'm using myself as an example because I've been in the industry for over 50 years. So, that's the difference between what makes me, when I started modeling 6 years ago back into Atlanta, everybody knows me for bringing all kinds of stuff. and I bring stuff in order to be able to share with my fellow models, in order to be able to help my designers put on a very good show.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
they may forget their
If Z don't have it, you don't need it.
It don't. If they don't have it, it don't exist. Okay.
so silly. Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take that.
Z, do you have a bamboo stick from Africa that's got a silver pole on the bottom
Hold
of it?
on,
That
Yeah.
hold
Hold on. Look at
on.
my bag right there on the left. It's right.
Go in the bag, look under the duct tape. But I do it because I like to be in good, solid productions. And
Mhm.
I like everybody to feel beautiful as I would be feeling in my designer garb and
Mhm.
or whatever wardrobe I've got on. I'm representing my designer. So yes, I bring an abundance of stuff. I sure do. And 9 times out of 10, I give away a lot of stuff. So yeah, it gets to be costly. It sure does. But I will do it every time in order to make sure someone like Andrea has what she needs, just in case she didn't forget, or she needs more stuff. And I don't see anything wrong with that. A lot of people and that's why I always say model love, model. When I walk in the,
Mhm.
I do say model love, model love. Let's
Model
get it,
love.
because it is about model love. It is about all of us coming together and working as one to put on the best show we possibly can. Lewis, do you have a next question for me? 90-second story about your experience in the Atlanta market or your hometown. I'm going to start with Zelda.
Okay, well, if I can go back real quick in this 90 seconds to one of the cons for my market is shows are just too long and guests end up leaving, and then all of the designer stuff is not featured because the shows are just too long.
Hence,
And
they
another,
first.
I lost y'all.
Hence, why they should go
Okay,
first. Why your designers should go
yeah,
first.
exactly. And then my last con was they like to throw in a bunch of entertainers, and sometimes the entertainers are just not that good. If you're going to do entertainment, please make sure it's quality entertainment. Okay, so my experience here in Central Florida has been pretty good, thank God, because I'm very selective because I believe in protecting my reputation and brand as well. So I do my due diligence, making sure that I research before I audition or go out for a casting. So that's what I would leave with everybody that's listening. Yeah, do your research, and just because something's going on and you want to model or you want to be in the show, don't mean you got to be in everything that's on the calendar. Look for stuff that's quality, stuff that's going to be a blessing and something that you can get something out of it.
Okay.
What she said.
Yeah. Exactly.
Andrea, what do you think?
Um,
90-second story about your experience in Atlanta market or your home.
my experience with the models has been good. With some of the people in the industry in general, not so much. Um, but you can't please everybody, and you're not going to be everybody's, cup of tea, of course. And that's okay, because I am who I am. I bring what I bring, and I'm known for what I'm known for, and I just leave it at that. But my experience has kind of been, it's good in one hand, and it's not so good on another. But I'm very selective now about the shows that I do. And so I've taken a break from doing shows for a while. So because I did about 7 shows in the first half of the year. So I'm burnt out right now.
Right? 90-second story about your experience in Atlanta market or your hometown. Tammy.
Um. Well, there's one experience. I'm not going to name the producer of the show,
Please.
but
Thank you.
won't do that. But there was there was fighting. There was it was something I've never experienced ever before. I mean, they were fighting each other. The producer of the show was cursing out models. They, I asked,
Are you
could we get,
kidding? Wow.
yeah, I asked, could I get some water? I never got any water. Um, it was, it was something. It was just something that I had never experienced, and I'll never experience again because I will never ever do anything with that producer ever again. But that's another reason why you just have to be selective of the shows. I'm way more selective of the shows that I do now, partially more because of that.
Yes,
Yeah. So I just have to. You just be selective. Do your research, man. You
Mhm.
can't
Brianna.
just because it's a show and you want to model. You can't. You just shouldn't do every show.
Mm.
Yeah, Brianna, are you there? Hey, Brianna.
Yes, I can hear you now. I'm sorry, I was having technical difficulties.
That's okay. That's okay. Go right ahead. 90-second story about your experience in your hometown market.
I would say it's been up and down just because I've dealt with a lot of people. Like I said, there's a lot of favoritism or people thinking that they're better than other people. And I don't really look at it like that. Like, it's just a lot of intimidation and I can handle it. But really, I'm just the type of person where I want to do good and I want to see others do good as well. So I mostly end up I don't have a problem networking and talking to other people, but most of the time I end up being reserved and just observing my audience and the people around me, seeing what I can learn just by watching, because I feel like there's never too much for you to learn from others. And I just really go with the flow, but it's just been up and down. It's like
Okay.
win some, lose some.
Tanya, 90 second story.
My
Or your
experience, my experience, leaving my hometown, coming to Atlanta. My experience in my hometown, I had someone bad mouthing me to designers and producers, and I had a producer that did that had a sit down with me and said, this person that you think is your friend, this is what they're doing to you.
wow.
So then when I came down to Atlanta, um, TLA opened their arms up for me and gave me an amazing start. And the models have been amazing. The designers have been amazing. My experience has been, I did a lot of shows because I wasn't known here. But if Atlanta didn't do those shows, I wouldn't have never, no one would ever know me like they know me now.
Mm,
And I'm 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 more grateful to the shows and the things that I've done here in Atlanta than not. It's been really good for me. And
good.
my first 6 months here, I won Atlanta hottest model.
Mm,
And that's because of all the work. Even my acting, I've been doing a lot. I did a lot of background work as well. So Atlanta's been pretty good to me. I have to say that.
Jules. Jewel. Uh-oh. Can't hear you.
She's muted.
You're muted.
Oh,
There you go.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so my experience in my hometown, before I relocated to Atlanta, um, you start from the bottom and then you climb your way, and as you grow and grow and grow, the claps turn into sides, you know, conversations, and then there is a limitation on, it's groups. It's like she said, favoritism. It's groups, and it's like then you start to branch out. And then once you start to branch out, you have to worry about scams and all this other stuff. So my experience in Atlanta, still being new to Atlanta, I have done some shows from when I was back home. Just getting your foot wet and to get more exposure work for me. Just learning the who's who. I would say that's been the biggest thing, the who's who. And I don't know if I really want to continue runway in Atlanta. I think personally, I'm going to continue traveling with it because until I find the right
Okay.
productions,
Okay.
I don't see it here. It's not worth it.
Wow.
Wow.
I would say don't give up on it.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I
don't
like
let your poor
that.
experiences make you give up, sweetheart.
I feel like Atlanta is more for acting If you want to get
Right.
paid, I don't really feel like there's no money here for the models. I feel like you have to keep branching out. You just learn what you can
Mhm.
and keep
And
branching
move
out.
on.
Get your experience. Yep.
Get your experience.
Mhm.
All right. It's
Mhm.
been a wonderful panel. You all
It
have been
has.
exceptional. Thank you all for your curiosity and coming on. I appreciate you. You all have a wonderful evening. You know you'll be seeing this everywhere, and share it with people so they can learn. And that's what one of the things we wanted to do is to be able to teach others through our experiences and you all's experiences of what they can do or what we should do or how we should do it. And we just want to talk about it, make it
Thank
better.
you, everybody. Thank you. It was
Thank
a good
you,
panel.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank y'all
I
for
Thank
greatly
you for
appreciate
having me.
Thank
y'all.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. And as you know, we've been running your information across the screen too for you. So
Hmm.
let you know how they can get in contact with you. I just
Thank
want
you, Lewis.
Thank
to
Thank you,
thank
Thanks,
Lewis.
Louis.
yeah, yeah, now he's in the background running it as usual. And
He
your
did his
girl,
thing.
this is your girl Zaharraa Geyhanna. And we're gonna say good night until the next time. Let's
Good
talk about it.
night.
Let's
you.
Let's
talk
talk
about
about it.
it.
Let's
Good
talk
Let's
night.
model
about
love,
Bye
baby.
bye.
Good night.
Model love.
it. This love.